during that conversation, Katie Allagood walked into the studio. She was the carpool queen. Definitely has them talking this morning as they are at their breakfast clubs and are at their tennis clubs this morning right now at the health clubs talking about, did you see Katie at the carpool line? She must have lost a bet. She did lose a bet. She lost a game versus LSU on Saturday. You could tell in her text messages that she was aggravated and pissed off by the way she was texting on Saturday. I don't know if it was her team's performance or she knew that she had to dress like this. Welcome, Katie, into the studio in mesh LSU shorts.
Nude.
She is nude up top. She does not have a shirt on. That is exactly right. Go tell your friends. No other show is doing this, people. No other shows, female co-host.
Naked news.
Will make the news and live up to her end of the bargain and go topless on a sports radio show, sports talk show, excuse me. Sports talk show.
Yeah, no radio.
Here on this platform. Wow, look at that entrance.
I ran back in the house because we forgot masks, and I ran back out. And Kate was like, "Don't run, everything passes. Don't run."
Cow.
That's what Coach O likes.
That is unreal.
I was like, I'm supposed to be. Now that I see it, though,
watch
on
out,
camera,
Coach O might start chasing you.
It is very strange.
It is weird.
Like, it looked more like a man's chat. I mean,
it is weird.
This is weird.
This might get us
weird.
kicked
We should have gotten some. We should have gotten some Crisco oil.
This seems distracting. I'm distracted.
Sorry about that. Going on to you.
I mean, a bet's a bet.
A bet's a bet.
Good on you.
You know?
Good on you.
Thank you.
Man, he might even ring a cowbell for you, and she shows up nude.
Nude.
Golly, it's incredible.
There's like a treasure trail at the bottom of the shirt. But
a little happy trail?
Yeah.
A treasure trail?
Wait, is that not what it's called?
Oh, my God.
Wait, it's not called a treasure trail?
I've always been known to call it a happy trail.
Mississippi it is.
Yeah. Let me find the gold, baby.
Down there,
got some gold nuggets.
down there in the treasure chest area. Jay Crain, the Jboy Show, incredible content. My man talked to Bo Nix yesterday. We talked about some of the NIL deals that he had inked last night. We were talking to Keyshawn Butte, and we were talking about around the conference some of the people that were really killing it on NIL. And Jay Crain is doing it more with the content that he's putting out every day. You've got to follow him on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever you can get his content. Make sure you keep up with it. He is back with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, Jordy, how's it going, man? I'm going to be honest with you. A treasure trail?
Yes.
I kind of like the sound of that. You know, that's got a better ring to it.
You would, buddy. You would, huh? That's right. Jboy is here. So much good football coming up this weekend, bro. Where do you start when you look at the buffet of football that will be open for entertainment on Saturday?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you start anywhere other than UConn Vandy, you're not doing it right. That's the matchup golly, it's hard to pick, man. It's kind of like Christmas, you know. It's which present you going to open up first. The Alabama-Ole Miss matchup's obviously a big one, especially after last year. I do a show with Bryce Young every week and talked with him last week. We dropped it this morning, and they're really excited about the opportunity. And him and Matt Corral have a relationship as well. A lot of those Southern Cali quarterbacks do, including DJ Ugalele from Clemson as well,
nice.
even though he's not having the top season as those two are. But Auburn LSU, to me, you look at Auburn, the struggles they've had. I mean, the storyline of TJ Finley, we were talking about it yesterday on the show. The storyline of TJ Finley maybe starting, going down to LSU after leaving LSU, even though I think it's going to be Bo Nix, has got to be, you know, buried in some tablet somewhere in ancient Samaria that we'll find 300 years from now. But you look at that game, Georgia-Arkansas, even though Arkansas is really beat up, I think Georgia, no pun intended, is probably going to walk the dog on them, but that doesn't take anything away from what Arkansas has been able to do. I mean, Sam Pittman is maybe the best fit in college football when it comes down to head coach and place where he's at. And then, of course, look, Florida-Kentucky to me gets me going as much as anything.
I agree.
You know, I picked Kentucky to finish second in the East. Took a lot of hell for that. Now, they played great lately. No, but they've won. You know, and if you're Kentucky, you know, taking the next step, and for them the next step is getting in that second tier in the West, taking that next step, it's not just about beating teams you're not supposed to beat or beating kind of the perennial dogs of that side. it's making your layups. And I do sense the irony in me telling Kentucky to make their layups. But beating South Carolina, handling business, I think Kentucky will get up for this game like Florida got up for Bama.
I agree with that. I think that is going to be a fascinating game. Take me to Arkansas real quick, and you mentioned Sam Pittman. I agree with you. He's a fantastic fit. He's got Arkansas really believing and got him headed in the right direction. What did that win versus A&M mean for the Western Division in the conference? And this weekend when they go into Athens, do you believe they have KJ Jefferson at all?
Well, it keeps vindicating what they're doing over there. Not only from a this season thing, but culturally. Because I tell you what, and I may watch the game a little bit differently, but when I watch Arkansas, they defensively, those guys play with maximum effort, but also maximum control. It's what we call controlled aggression. I always use the baseball analogy. The best home run hitters are the guys that can swing the hardest, but still keep their eye on the ball and not lose their fundamentals. So their margin for error is a lot larger than other guys that swing the hardest. And I feel that's the way that Arkansas is playing on defense. KJ Jefferson, I know he's going to be banged up. I'm not sure. If he plays without his legs, that renders him pretty much ineffective in my book, even though last week I thought he took some strides forward. He only threw 15 passes. We know he can throw the vertical ball. But I was very impressed what I saw in the intermediate passing game, not only in the middle of the field but the outside, him moving in the pocket or them running sprint out and him being able to deliver accurate balls. And then, of course, that offensive line, that they continue, even with Strongberg beat up, even with Dalton Wagner beat up going into the game, who I thought played through a lot of pain and did a really good job. They're just tough. Attitude reflects leadership, man. Yeah. And it just shows you, the leadership that Sam Pittman and the culture they've instilled over there. And they better enjoy Kendall Briles and Barry Odom while they have them, because I don't think they're going to have them for much longer. But I think Georgia's the best team in the country. They're catching Arkansas pretty beat up. There's a reason that spread's 18.5.
Yeah, I agree. It's something about runs when you make them in college football. You really got to catch some breaks, and stars have to align. And it feels like the stars are aligning here early in the season, where Georgia is catching Arkansas after that heavyweight bout that they were in Dallas last Saturday night. Ole Miss and Alabama seems like that is going to get every eyeball of a college football fan at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon. What does this matchup mean for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss and what they're trying to get going in Oxford? I know this game is in Tuscaloosa, but how do you like it a couple of days out?
Yeah, well, there's going to be more scoring than Matthew McConaughey at a Zach Brown band concert, is the way I'm looking at it. You look at these. And again, listen, man. That's all right. But when I look at Ole Miss, defensively they're better. They couldn't get much worse. After last year, I thought they did a good job in the junior college ranks. I thought that was going to be the most important race between him and Mike Leach, because I've coached in that junior college league out there. I know how plentiful it is, especially for linemen, and that's where the game's won and lost in any league, not only the SEC. But I still don't think Ole Miss is to a point defensively where they cannot get turnovers and be able to stay in a game like this. And what I mean by stay in it is lose by 10 or more. Yeah. Because the thing with Alabama is they're one of the few teams in the country that is physically, from a physical standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, from an injury recovery standpoint, they're one of the only few teams in the country that can fix all those things in a hurry, if that makes sense. Right. They have the physical ability to do it. And I think going back and watching that Florida game, Dan Mullen called maybe the best game of his life in the second half with what he had with Emory Jones out there, the way they used the quarterback run game, something we hinted at all week, because it was their only built-in advantage. But I think Alabama's going to be able to score at will. I love Matt Corral. I think they're going to score points. I just don't think they're going to have enough defensive stops outside of Alabama. They need at least 2 turnovers, probably 3. That's what Ole Miss needs.
LSU Auburn on Saturday night. It'll be under the lights of Death Valley at 8 o'clock. It should be a rocking atmosphere. You are very close to that Auburn program. They have not won here since 1999. I got to imagine that is a huge storyline and motivating this group coming over to Baton Rouge.
Yeah, it is. But, again, unless they're going to 3D print a wide receiver that's going to be able to go up and get the ball on a 50-50 ball, I worry about them in the red zone, because while Tank's put up – look, Tank is going to put up numbers regardless of who he's playing for. But if you really watch, he hasn't had a ton of holes to run through, and Jarquez Hunter the young guy who I think he's next up after Tank. I mean, he went in Happy Valley and balled, but this Auburn offense, and I talked to Bo about this. They've really struggled in the red zone, and you guys know this. You get paid to score in the red zone. A lot of people can move the ball in between the 20s, but you get paid to score in the red zone. You hear it in the NFL all the time. You get paid to convert third downs and score in the red zone. And Auburn struggled to do that. And last week, they really weren't on the same page offensively. They rested a few guys. But Auburn's got to kick another gear. And I know it's LSU, and they'll get up for it. But unless they continue to get better in the red zone, they find a guy that at the receiver position that can go up and get the ball, then defensively, the pass rush has not been what we thought it was going to be. And they busted a lot of coverages in the back end, which surprises me with the Derek Mason coach defense. I mean, they let the tight end run free in the Penn State game and really a couple times in the Georgia State game. So there's a lot for Auburn to fix. I watch LSU. That was a big win against Mississippi State. I still have questions a little bit. I still think if you heat Max up, he struggles. I wonder if Auburn will do that. I don't think they're going to just rush 3 and drop 8. I'd be surprised. But I tell you this much, guys. You better cover Boutte. That guy is an ATM, what do they call it, an automatic touchdown machine. That guy's unreal.
He is. What did you learn about LSU last week versus Mississippi State?
I learned they're a little bit more mentally tough than I thought. And I think getting the turnover early was big, too. I thought that was a really big play. They needed that. I thought if they went down early, it was going to be tough for them to respond. But them hanging on in the end, even though the defense still concerns me a little bit. They made some adjustments. You saw some 3-down stuff. But, look, I think this is going to be a game like it always is with Auburn LSU. I just hope there's not a fire or an earthquake or something crazy. With this series, I wouldn't be surprised if the government gave alien disclosure right before kickoff. That's how wild. They're like, all right, guys, listen, they're real. All right, they're real. Enjoy the Auburn LSU game.
That'll be the flyover.
Yeah. It's like, all right, hey, we got a few flying saucers do the flyover. You're cool? All right. Stock market sucks right now. So, but
10 p.m., we don't care.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we're going to play on a neutral site on Venus next year with Alabama and some ACC team that's going to get murdered. So, but no, look, it's going to be a great game, I think. But whoever in these games, I always think teams lose it. They don't win it. I think the team that makes the big turnover, maybe the big mistake on special teams early that gives the other side momentum. And look, I know how nuts it's going to be at LSU. That's a tough place to play. Death Valley, I always say, I said yesterday, I'll walk through Happy Valley any day of the week, but I'll be strapped before I walk through Death Valley. I promise that.
So you're not coming to the game, I take it.
No, and I only mean that as in a true Death Valley.
Sure. Yes. We take it as a compliment, actually.
I don't want anybody to think I'm carrying or anything going into the game. So,
there he is right there.
FBI, Interpol, it's a joke. CIA, I'm just kidding, guys. Everybody calm down.
Another great day of content on the way from the Jboy Show. Make sure you are following them on Twitter at the Jboy Show. They blast out all of the announcement, all the links where you can find them. They're on obviously on YouTube, thejboyshow.com. Of course, a part of Colin Cowherd's The Volume Sports, talking college football, specializing in the SEC and dominating the competition right now. Thank you as always, bro. We'll catch up again soon.
Jordy, it's always fun, man. Y'all enjoy that treasure trail. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. Later.